better than street expectations. I caught up with the Managing Director, Suresh Narayan, just a few minutes back, and I began by asking him exactly this. His outlook on revenues, will he be able to repeat this quarter's performance?
For us as Nestle, it has been like the dawn after a very dark night. So we are seeing definitely improvement in our numbers. As you can see, in the last 3 quarters, from about 17.5 billion, we took it about 19.5 billion of sales, and this quarter has been about 23 billion of sales. So clearly, with the coming back of Maggi and with also the revival of the other businesses, it's clearly moving in the right direction. Now, I am, Latha, very much of a pragmatist. I keep saying this. I don't have a magic wand, but I can tell you in all transparency that the coming quarters will definitely be better than what you have seen. And as I said, this is a new dawn for Nestle coming out of this crisis. I believe we are coming out stronger as an organization, and I believe that this will be, I do hope, with all the efforts from the team and from the partners beyond, it will translate into good numbers for the company.
Okay. Now, let me, I'm asking you about a guidance for the future quarters, also because there is a lot of space to grow. Your prepared food segment, that is Maggi and such like, are still contributing only about 15% to your revenues in CY15. They used to be at one point in time 30%. So there is a headroom to grow. Therefore, should we expect that even if not revenues, your EBITDA will be even better than the current quarter's growth rate?
Latha, one thing with all due respects is that really the purpose of my conversation with you is not to really start giving you guidances. We don't give guidances for the forthcoming.
No, Suresh, qualitative. I'm not asking you to give. I'm not trying to tie you to a number. Qualitatively, can it be a better quarter?
I will say that, Latha, and this is not only applying to brand Maggi. I think while Maggi has been at the epicenter of all that we have been talking about in the last couple of months, but clearly there are other categories of the company, whether it is coffee and beverages, whether it's chocolates and confectionery, whether it is milks and nutrition. These are all clearly offering potential for growth. And one of the strategies that I had articulated was that the growth will be across categories. It will not just be unidimensional on Maggi. So yes, there is a headroom to grow, certainly on Maggi. We are back to leadership, as you're aware, Latha, but I think there is a long road ahead. So I don't sit complacent, and neither is my organization complacent with what we have achieved. We are humbly satisfied with where we have come, but I believe that there is a long road ahead, not only for Maggi, but also there are numerous opportunities in some of the other segments as well, which indeed, as you might have noticed, in the last couple of months, we have come out with new offerings as well, whether it is, for example, Nestle A+ Greek yogurts, whether it is Nescafe Premium Insta Filter, whether it is Kit Kat Duo or Munch Nuts. I mean, there are new offerings, and I can assure you, Latha, that there is a lot of work on coming up with new offerings in the next 12 to 18 months.
Okay, I'm coming to your milk and confectionery products in a minute, but before the specific products, just one more word on the overall numbers, financials. You've come back very nicely on margins. EBITDA margins are back to that plus 20 level, 23, 24%. Is there still room to grow, or will competitive pressures put a lid on margins at current levels?
Look, Latha, I think one of the clear strategies that I had articulated on behalf of the Nestle organization was that growth will be privileged. So clearly, we have a strategy of accelerating growth, and I think it is fair to see that with the changing India, with the new exciting and emerging urban classes that we are having, there is clearly an opportunity to accelerate growth. And I think I'm a great believer in the fact that penetration And growing categories involves volume growth. It involves saliencies in terms of innovation, renovation capabilities. It involves being fast, focused, and flexible. And I believe that as a consequence of all this, we will be privileging growth. But however, we are also a company that delivers both on top line and on bottom line. So there will be a healthy mix of the two.
Take your point. So the 23 billion number is going to be more important than the 5 billion number, which is your EBITDA number, but both are going to be important. It's only a priority issue. Okay, with that, let me come to the strategy you will use even in terms of pricing and advertising. You know, Maggi is so many people's favorite, even in my newsroom. The product price has been cut. So what's the strategy there? What kind of a volume are you preparing for? What is the strategy behind this price cut?
Fundamentally, I think our offerings, especially the masala, was on the same price that we had it at the time when it was taken off the market. So there's been no dramatic change in that. In atta, of course, we have come in at a keener price point. Now, Latha, what's important to us as an organization is the quality of the offering and the value of the offering. And I believe that price is not the strategy that is going to be at the center of the Nestle competencies. I believe that as a nutrition, health and wellness company, we have a lot of other forces at play, be it in terms of market segmentation, be it in terms of existing categories, more offerings. You know, Latha, that as a company, we have a global cachet of over 2,000 brands. And I think there is therefore an enormous opportunity to play and leverage on those offerings rather than purely having a tactical price play, which after a point in time will not translate into augmented growth, because the consumer will stop seeing value in the brand. I think that is one vector of the marketing dimension that we have, but it is not the only dimension.
Okay. Well, again, it's not just me. A lot of people have been very surprised by your extraordinary margin performance, and especially the sharp decline in other expenses. Would we now see pressure because of higher advertising? This place has become so competitive. So what kind of an advertising scale up can you share with us?
Sure, Latha, I think that's a very good question. I believe that a growth strategy and a penetration strategy will clearly involve a significant uplift, not only in competencies in execution, but also definitely competencies as far as advertising spends are concerned. Now, clearly, Maggi, to take one example, is a brand that has come back, but it has got a long way to grow. So clearly, on brand Maggi, there will be acceleration in terms of the monies that we put behind advertising and sales promotion. In all the other categories where I am looking at new product launches, relaunches, restages, again, there will be quite clearly extra resources that will be put behind accelerating trials and accelerating the saliencies of those brands as we move forward.
Well, there was much more in that conversation, especially in terms of how the Patanjali competition will be tackled, and of course competition from the whole host of products, new IPOs getting listed in milk products, all of which are broadly in the same space that Nestle is. It was a many-splendored conversation, but I got you what was interesting for the financials. Growth will be the privileged factor. That was what they were saying. So margins, yes, but growth first seemed to be the strategy of the company. We'll get you more highlights of that conversation, but Manisha Gupta, our commodities editor,